Rndr is one of the hottest AI altcoins on the market, and with good reason, because from the beginning of this bull run in 2023, this altcoin saw an impressive 3,000+% rally from 38 cents up to about $13.50. Now, despite this impressive performance from its all-time high back here in March, this coin is now down over 63%, sitting at about $5. And in today's episode of the Everything Crypto Show, I'm going to break down what happened this week that we did see Rndr move to the downside so much, and discuss whether or not I do believe this coin can hit and surpass its previous all-time highs. But without further ado, we are going to hop right into today's altcoin of discussion, and that is going to be the Rndr token. Now, before we get into the content, just a friendly reminder that I am not a financial advisor. I am simply here for your crypto news and entertainment purposes. If you do enjoy the content on the channel, please consider hitting that sub and like button and turn that notification bell on so you can be notified when all of our latest videos go live on the channel. Now, before we get into Rndr specifically, I do want to just kind of talk about what happened this past week in the broader altcoin market, because it's not just Rndr that has been pulling back significantly. You know, if we actually take a look at this freeze frame here from Friday, you can see that it's a pretty mixed bag, but for the most part, a lot of these altcoins are down on the day. And the reason for this is because of the US job numbers that came in on Friday. They actually missed expectations. It was expected to come in at 4.1%. And instead it came in at 4.3%, and this is causing a lot of concern of just a broader U.S. economic slowdown. Now, the market has really taken off, throughout 2023 and 2024. I believe a lot of it has been driven by the AI hype. And NVIDIA stock is a pretty good gauge for that, right? I mean, if we take a look at this stock's performance over the past year, and just kind of take a look at where it was in 2023. We can go ahead and measure it from January 6, 2023. Okay, this stock, ran up like 787% from the beginning of the year, up still about 610%. However, now people are kind of overlooking the AI hype and are instead worried about this economic slowdown with the big unemployment number that just came in over expectations. So what I want to talk about first is what this means looking forward and why I actually believe that this will be bullish for altcoins in Q4 of this year. If we take a look at the CME Fed Watch, what this is looking at is target rate probabilities for the 18th of September 2024 Fed meeting. The current target rate is 525 to 550 basis points, and we have 31.5% predicting that they are going to cut it by 25 basis points and 68.5% predicting a 50 basis point cut. And effectively, what this means is that the market is pricing in some sort of a cut regardless for the Fed to try and get ahead of a potential broader economic slowdown. Bringing down rates should hypothetically boost the economy. Now, if we see rate cuts, if we do see the economy start to pick back up, this also means that generally speaking, risk on assets tend to pick back up. And in crypto, risk on assets are basically the altcoin market, whereas Bitcoin would be considered kind of like the safest asset in crypto, right? Largest by market cap, fixed supply, immutable coding. And Bitcoin dominance has really been on a tear, okay? We've been speaking about this on the channel. Just the fact that you have to be really selective with your altcoins this bull run. I don't think that this is like the previous bull run where you can basically just pick any altcoin with your eyes closed and it's going to go up on its USD pair and also on its Bitcoin pair. In fact, if we actually measure Bitcoin dominance from 2023, which I would consider to be the start of this bull run, I mean, it's up over 42% from about 40% up to 56.77%. Meaning that Bitcoin actually makes up about 56.5% more or less of the entire crypto market cap, okay? And my kind of target here for this to top out is in and around the 58 to 60% region. And this is why, although Bitcoin has been rallying, although Bitcoin is close to all-time highs, if you are heavily invested in a broad set of altcoins, kind of moving away from the few that have outperformed Bitcoin, like Solana, like Rndr, etc. Yeah, it might not feel like the market is pretty close to all-time highs because Bitcoin has been outperforming the broader market, and that's exactly what the Bitcoin dominance chart actually shows us. I mean, you can take a look at the Bitcoin chart here, and a lot of altcoins do not look like this, close to their prior cycle highs, close to this cycle's highs. A lot of altcoins have not even put in a new high from the prior cycle, whereas Bitcoin has, and it's really only about, let's take a look, down about 15% from those cycle highs, actually on the bull market support band at the moment in that lower band there. So, forward looking, if the Fed does opt to cut rates, I do believe that this will in fact be bullish for the altcoin market. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about in terms of the broader market. Now, I want to talk about Rndr specifically, okay, because they did just undergo a massive upgrade, and they actually upgraded their Rndr token from the Ethereum network over to the Solana blockchain. We also saw, most of the major exchanges actually support this migration: Coinbase, Binance, OKX, Kraken, Crypto.com, etc. Right? Like a lot of these centralized exchanges actually did support the migration, and they swapped Ethereum Rndr for Solana Rndr on a one-to-one basis. However, there was a period of time where the Ethereum Rndr was delisted as the migration occurred. Most of the centralized exchanges have now launched the upgraded Solana version of Rndr. I think some still have yet to do it, but I believe most of them have. And this did cause a lot of uncertainty within the community. People wondering what would happen to their Ethereum Rndr, etc. And if there's one thing the market does not like, it is uncertainty, okay? However, the migration has been completed from Rndr from most centralized exchanges. And what this does is it actually opens up all Rndr to basically utilize the burn mint equilibrium. So this burn mint equilibrium is now enabled by the Solana blockchain, probably a part of the big reason that they did actually go ahead and migrate over. And here are the key aspects of the BME model. So token burning and emissions. Upon completion of work, creators pay for jobs by converting fiat to Rndr using distributed liquidity pools. And for completion of work, what they're effectively talking about is when people actually tap into the Rndr network, it is their decentralized GPU infrastructure. So effectively, anybody can tap into the Rndr network and utilize the GPU infrastructure for a wide array of computation tasks, from basic rendering to artificial intelligence tasks. And now what this burn mint equilibrium is going to do, the Rndr, upon completion of work, creators pay for jobs by converting fiat to Rndr. The Rndr is subsequently burned in exchange for completion of the work, and a transparent log of these transactions is maintained by the protocol, which then forms the basis for rewards for contributors at the end of each epoch. Okay, so creators are paid for jobs by converting fiat into Rndr, and then the Rndr is subsequently burned. Now, this was not happening with Ethereum Rndr. This was only happening with the Solana version of Rndr. And what this means is that now, because all Rndr is on Solana and they are no longer supporting the Ethereum version of Rndr, if we do see continued adoption of Rndr and, its decentralized GPU infrastructure, which I believe we will, just given kind of like the general direction of AI use cases and the demand for that GPU power, this would hypothetically translate into more burns of this token. Burns are always a good thing. I mean, in most cases for tokens, as you are basically decreasing the supply. And if we see continued adoption and the demand continues to go up, this should be a good thing for the price action. And we can see cumulatively, so far about 76,000 Rndr has been burned. I do want to keep an eye on this number to see how it basically goes and moves in the coming weeks and months. So I do want to wrap things up taking a look at the chart now as well. And as we said at the beginning of the video, Rndr has been a really big winner of this bull run. We did see that impressive 3,000+% rally from the bear market lows, currently in a 63% drawdown, and just broken below a key area of support at the $5.30 range, give or take. And the reason this range is so important, okay, first of all, if we actually take a look at the prior bull market, so this is the 2021 run into 2022 when we saw the crash, we actually saw rejection here at this level before Rndr capitulated all the way down to those bear market lows. And then here we actually saw Rndr get rejected at this level in December of 2023, pulled back to about $3.60, let's call it, which I have marked as the next area of support. And then as soon as it broke above that $5.30 range, this coin within a month went on about a 150% rally from $5.30 up to $13.50. So I'm kind of looking to see how it closes this weekly candle at the $5.30 range. However, if it is unable to get back above $5.30, I do believe that the next strong area of support does come in at about the $3.50 zone. If it does get back above $5.30, the next area I am targeting is about the $7 range here, which we can see did act as some resistance. And then above that, $8.80, which is the prior bull market all-time high back in 2021, and also where the bull market support band currently sits. So, do I believe that that Rndr can go ahead and do this? I think that the altcoin market is going to turn around in Q4 of this year in line with rate cuts. I think for the most part, that winners continue to win. Okay, Solana has been one of the biggest winners of this bull run, continues to outperform. Rndr has been one of the biggest winners of this bull run, continues to outperform. And the thing is too, right, like this is not new to Rndr and really the altcoin market as a whole. You can see here back in 2023, even on its bull run, this thing went on a 53% decline, okay? But what happens here is when you actually zoom out, this decline does not look as big as it did when it was actually happening, because this coin then went on to smash that level and make new highs, okay? And if Rndr does actually make its way back up to new highs and actually, surpasses $13.50 range, this pullback on the chart would also look something like this, right? So that's the point, is that in the altcoin market, you do have to expect these massive drawdowns. But if you do pick your altcoins selectively, then they do also have outsized gains when the market runs back to the upside. So let me know in the comments down below what you think about the Rndr token. I am very curious to hear your guys' thoughts on this AI altcoin. I hope you all enjoyed the content in today's video. I hope you are all staying happy, safe, and healthy, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace out for now.